Hey everyone, here we are hanging out at Markham's Arkham. Thank you for being here. Welcome. I do have a relative project to this. It's Markham Asylum on Rarible. Check it out. It's rarible.com/Markham Artist. It's kind of the sister to this whole thing I'm doing here in a way. Hey, you want to see something really scary? 1983, the feature film expansion of the legendary TV series, The Twilight Zone. Entertaining to watch in its duration. Takes 4 prominent directors and re-envisions 4 stories from the original series. Burgess Meredith, a recurring star of the original TV series, is the narrator of the film version here. However, in my opinion, I think this film would have Rod Serling rolling in his grave. One thing about Rod was he was creative director of the series. He had complete creative control, something that he would not relinquish. When there was a guest writer in the original TV series, they were hand-chosen by him, directors hand-picked by him. It was his show. It was his baby. And he had nothing to do with this film. So, who's to say he would have chosen John Landis to direct the brand new segments? Don't even come from the original TV show, have nothing to do with the TV series whatsoever. And that is the prologue and the first segment, which are written and directed by John Landis. Films produced by Landis and Steven Spielberg, which who's to say that Serling would have chosen them to produce the film? Who's to say that Serling would have chosen the episodes to be recreated that were re-envisioned in the context of this film? And who's to say he would have even recreated 4 episodes for a film version in color when, if he were alive, he could have written 4 new stories for a movie, which is most likely what he would have done. So, I don't think that Serling would really be happy about this film, in my opinion. Knowing his character and how he always wanted creative control. That was one of his problems with Night Gallery, was that he lost creative control of the show. And so, the last, season 4 and 5, I believe, he was disinterested. He hated the show. He was really becoming more distant from it and more uninvolved because he had lost creative control of it. So, in the opening of the film, we have 2 friends, Dan Aykroyd and Albert Brooks, traveling on the road, and they decide to play a stupid guess the TV show theme game to entertain each other on their journey. And that is until Aykroyd decides it's time for Brooks to get a good scare. He says, "Hey, you want to see something really scary?" And Brooks is laughing, smiling, like, yeah, because they've just been playing, and Dan Aykroyd hunkers down and pops back out. He's this demonic monster who, murders Brooks at the beginning of the film. And the monster's really cool. I have to say, the monster's well done, and that leads us into the rest of the film and the opening credits of the film. Now, when the opening comes on, it is a remaking of the original Twilight Zone opening with the eyeball and the clock and all that, but it's being narrated by Burgess Meredith, who I know was a good friend of Serling. Out of anyone else involved with the film, it's probably most fitting that he's the one doing it. However, what reason did they have for not using Serling's original audio for the opening of the film? Why not? It's just an overdub. Just throw it down, make your recreated opening, but at least you've got some part of Serling touching this, being involved in this. Segment 1 is directed by John Landis. So, John Landis and Spielberg produced it, but they also direct 2 segments of the film. Landis being the first segment, which is a partial reworking but not a full remake of the original episode A Quality of Mercy, starring Vic Morrow. And this sees him playing an unrepentant bigot who gets a major dose of his own intolerance when he's mistaken for a Jew by Nazis, a black man by KKK members, and a Vietnamese man by American troops in Nam. It's a very dark episode that doesn't end too satisfactorily. There is a stigma with Twilight Zone and the production of the film, and that is that Victor Morrow and 2 child extras died during the production of the first segment of the film. On July 23rd, 1982, a Bell UH-1 Iroquois helicopter crashed at Indian Dunes in Valencia, Santa Clarita, California. The crash killed actor Victor Morrow and child actors Mika Din Lee and Renee Shinyi Chen, who are on the ground, and injured the 6 helicopter passengers. The incident led to years of civil and criminal action against personnel overseeing the shoot, including director John Landis, and was responsible for the induction of new procedures and standards in the filmmaking industry. So here's the creepy and strange thing about this, is that when Victor Morrow was waiting to film the scene, he allegedly said to a production assistant, "I must be out of my mind to be doing this. I should have asked for a stunt double. What can they do but kill me, right?" But it gets weirder, because back in 1974, when filming Dirty Mary Crazy Larry, Victor Morrow insisted on having a $1 million life insurance policy before he would film any of the helicopter scenes. When asked why he was so insistent, Morrow allegedly replied, "I have always had a premonition I was going to die in a helicopter crash." Fucking crazy, man, and his premonition was right. Right? Moving on to segment 2, a retelling of Kick the Can. Ultimately, it's really nothing more than syrupy, drippy crap, much in the vein of what Spielberg often tends to deliver as a director. No matter what he does, it's always soft. There's always something soft about it. Something, oh, this has to be more for the family. He leaves it soft. Soft. That's Spielberg, man. I'm not a huge fucking fan. You probably won't see me do a Spielberg film on this show. There are exceptions. Maybe it'll happen. The greatest thing about Kick the Can is Scatman Crothers, the warm, gentle, wonderfully genial actor who was always such a calming and nice presence from my childhood. Always so wonderful and great. I want to sit on a porch with that man and drink and talk about life all fucking day long. He actually makes it worth watching. In short, Scatman Crothers injects some magic into the lives of some senior citizens in an old folks' home. Segment 3 remakes It's a Boy's Life. The original episode was called It's a Good Life. In this one, directed by Joe Dante, a creepy little kid played by Jeremy Licht, hope I'm pronouncing that right, makes the acquaintance of a teacher, drags her back to his house, only for her to discover that this boy has the ability to completely control reality and manipulate it to anything he wants it to be, and thereby controlling everybody around him to do whatever he wants at his whim. So his family lives in absolute terror and fear of this child. Soon as the teacher discovers this, she makes every attempt that she can to escape the situation and get away, but to no avail. All he wants to do is watch cartoons, eat hamburgers with peanut butter on them, and the house is just contorted and manipulated to reflect these bizarre designs. The work serves as a counterpoint to Spielberg's story because Spielberg's is the light, jolly happiness of childhood, and then you have the counterpoint of It's a Boy's Life to the darkness and the sinister and the dark side of children and how dark a child can be. Little nice piece of trivia. Bill Mumy, the kid in the original episode, plays a diner patron in this segment. Segment 4, directed by George Miller, is an over-the-top remake of Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. This definitely is the best one in the film. This story is about a terrified plane passenger who already has an anxiety with flying. During his flight, he notices out the window a creature on the wing of the plane trying to destroy the engine, and he panics and tries to explain to everyone what's happening, tries to get them to see what's out there. Of course, whenever they look, they don't see the creature. This segment of the film, however, gives lots of great atmosphere and intensity, and a top-notch performance by John Lithgow, the unhinged passenger who believes he sees the creature out there on the wing of the plane. The creature is awesome, better than the creature from the original episode, I would say, of course, performed by actor Larry Cedar. I do recommend this segment of the film if you don't even watch the whole film. There are lots of familiar faces in this film as well in the small roles. It's pretty much an all-star cast. You've got Charles Hallahan, Doug McGrath, Bill Quinn, Selma Diamond, Dick Miller, once again playing Walter Paisley, Kevin McCarthy, William Shallert, Sherry Curie, Nancy Cartwright, John Dennis Johnston, Edward Franz, and Donna Dixon. So, in summary, it's entertaining. It's entertaining. It is well done. But I still think that Serling would be rolling in his grave over it. He had no choice in the matter. He had nothing to do with it. And I don't really think he'd be ultimately happy with the film. So, that's my take on it. Thank you for being here. Hope you enjoyed. As always, tell that monster on the wing of the plane. Tell that human disguised as a demon in that passenger seat next to you as you travel around mountainous, winding roads. If they don't kill you first. Tell your family, friends, your kitty. Let's get this message out there. Let's get this out there so more people can see it. Helps the algorithm. It's a small click for you. It means a lot to me. Thank you all for being here. Until next time, from Markham's Arkham, take care of yourselves. Peace.